Congratulations and welcome to graduate education at UNC Charlotte. We are so thrilled that you have chosen UNC Charlotte to further your education and pursue your passions. My name is Pinku Mukherjee, and I am the interim associate provost and dean of the graduate school. So you are joining a cohort of 6,300 graduate students across 175 graduate programs. Our faculty and staff are fully dedicated to providing you with the resources and support that you need to succeed in your studies and achieve your academic professional goals. We are fully committed to supporting you throughout your journey as graduate student. So you may not realize how critical you are to UNC Charlotte's growth and in achieving our strategic goals that make up shaping what's next. You not only support the research mission, many of you are instrumental in supporting undergraduate student success. So when you graduate and go on to become the next leaders in the community, you are the one who bring prestige and honor to UNC Charlotte. I want you to know that we in grad school care about you and your education. We also understand that graduate school can be very challenging as well as rewarding experience. And we are here to help you navigate the many opportunities and challenges that lie ahead. Whether you need help with coursework, research, finding internships, jobs, financial aid, wellness, or just need someone to talk to about graduate life, our office is here to assist you. In fact, you will hear a lot more from our amazing staff during this hour. I will turn it over to Dr. Jill Huerta, the Executive Director of the Center for Graduate Life and Learning, in short, CGLL. And I really encourage you to get involved in the many academic and social activities on campus and to make the most of your time as a graduate student. We are so excited to see you and see what you can achieve and contribute to your field and to the world. So this is a really exciting time for you. All the best for a very successful and fulfilling graduate career. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Mukherjee. I'm Jill Huerta. I'm Executive Director of the Center for Graduate Life and Learning, and welcome to UNC Charlotte. I'm thrilled to have you here joining our graduate community and to spend a little time with you today, getting you ready to start your semester off on the right foot. We are going to spend a good part of the first hour with a panel of students answering your questions. So please begin chatting in your questions whenever you're ready, whenever you have them. And I'll try to be brief so we can get to that part as quickly as possible. I basically have 3 points to make to you today. The first one is easy. It's a reminder to register for and attend our new graduate student welcome next week. It's Tuesday, January 10th, 4:30 to 6:30 in the Pop Martin Student Union. We've sent you information about it, but someone could probably chat in the link right now to the registration. We will have food and music and the chance to meet your peers. We'll be giving away some things. That's always a good way to start. You have to start building your swag collection. And then we'll also have partners here from across campus who provide services for graduate students. So they'll be there to answer your questions and to give out information that you might need. So point 1, register for that and attend so you can do a little social activity and meet your peers. Point 2 is that this right now is a special moment. And I want to ask you to sort of sit back and reflect on this moment right now, which is the beginning of your graduate education. I think many of us get to this point at the start of a journey and we begin thinking about the end and where we want to go and what we have to do to graduate and what we have to do to get internships and to get positions. But I think it's valuable to just think about this moment for a minute and to think about all you had to do to get to this moment. And I'm going to ask you to help me with this. Do me a favor. And if you're someone who has moved here from another city, another state, another country, put in the chat where you came from. Just put the city, state, country, where did you move here from? I think we may have a chat malfunction.
I got a direct message, so make sure when you comment, you're commenting to everyone in the meeting.
Here we go. Here we go. Yes, put your settings on everyone. I see Kenya. I see New Jersey, China, New Jersey, Athens, Georgia, Liberia, India, Jamaica, South Korea, Boston, Colombia, Paraguay, South Africa, Utah. Wow.
I saw
India. Australia, that's great. Charlotte, amazing. What an amazing group of people. And these are your peers, by the way. So that's also really interesting to think about all the people you're surrounded by. Columbia, South Carolina. Okay, let's do another one. If you have children, or if you're the caregiver of your parents or of someone in your community or a relative that you're taking care of, chat that in for me. Tell me, how many children do you have? Who do you take care of? New York, Lexington, North Carolina. Dad to 2 boys, 1 toddler, 2 children, 2 daughters, 3 children, 95-year-old in-laws, I think that is. Mother of 2 girls, a daughter and a mother. So lots of, and this is common in grad school, right? You're a little bit older than in undergrad and you have more responsibilities. Daughter, 1 son, he's 7. I love that age. Wonderful. Let's do one more. If you're going to be working while you attend school and juggling a career along with your degree, tell me what you do for a living or where you work. English teacher, bank associate, system engineer. I think I saw a 5th grade teacher. I saw adjunct at UNC Charlotte. Oh my goodness, sales, operations, English teacher, high school, Wells Fargo, an analyst, someone who works part-time on campus, great.
I saw a CEO. There's a CEO of a S Corp.
Excellent, excellent. That's a lot to juggle. Thank you. Thank you for helping me in demonstrating something really important, which is you have had to work out a lot to get to this point that you're at right now. You have had to figure out what you're going to do about your kids while you're in class. You have had to move here from all over the world and the country. You've had to figure out your schedule with your job and how you're going to fit it all in. And that's all in addition to lots of other things you had to do. You had to be successful as an undergrad. You had to figure out a career path. You had to research all kinds of schools and figure out which ones to apply to and figure out which one to attend. You did a phenomenal job with that decision. I think you made the best possible decision. So you've had to figure out a lot of things and tap into your creativity and your resilience and your abilities. And I want you to remember that feeling that you're having right now, that you figured it out, because undoubtedly, you're going to come across challenges during your graduate degree. You're going to have times you feel discouraged because it's hard to get a graduate degree. That's why everyone doesn't do it. There are many things to overcome along the way, and there's a lot of hard work. And when you begin to meet those challenges, I want you to remember that you're a person who can overcome challenges, and you're a person who can figure it out. So draw on that and get strength and resilience to overcome any hurdles that you might meet along the way. That's point number 2. Point number 3 is you don't have to do this alone. You are supported by a multitude of resources, and we're going to talk about a lot of them today. My personal favorite is the Center for Graduate Life and Learning, obviously near and dear to my heart. But we have all kinds of support to offer you, everything from career development to writing support, speaking support, teaching you how to be a more effective teacher, supporting your research, and supporting your mental health with social events and building community with you. Every Monday morning, we send out a newsletter called Grad Student Weekly. I encourage you to open that email every Monday, look at what we're offering, and make the commitment to put that on your calendar. Put a little time aside for professional development, for socializing with people outside of your discipline, for commiserating with your peers who are going through many of the same challenges you are. Research shows that if you do that, if you make those connections, you will be more satisfied with your graduate education, you'll be happier and mentally healthier, and you'll even excel at the metrics that take you to graduation, things like time to graduation and how many articles you publish and all of those accomplishments, your grade point average, etc. Those will all improve by investing this kind of time in yourself. And the final thing I want to say is that the Center for Graduate Life and Learning is your one place that you can go with any kind of question you have. We don't know everything, far from it, but we will connect you with someone who can answer your question, and we'll follow up and we'll make sure you're taken care of. So please think of us as a support for any kind of need you might have. And please make the most of your graduate education that you've already worked so hard for by optimizing your experience and getting involved in all kinds of activities and self-improvement. Keep learning and growing. I'm now going to hand it off to our Associate Dean of the Graduate School, Dr. Catherine Hall-Hertel.
Great, thanks so much, Jill. And I think Jill just gave fantastic advice, so I hope you were taking notes. As Jill said, I'm Catherine Hall-Hertel. I'm the Associate Dean for Graduate Academic and Student Affairs in our graduate school. And I'm happy to welcome you as well. The graduate school is the administrative home for all of the graduate programs, regardless of college. So what that means is that you're all part of the graduate school, and we are here for all of you from the point of admission all the way through to graduation. So think of us as a good place to check in with, ask questions if you're not sure of something, and you'll hear more from other folks who are able to answer your questions. I'm here to talk a little bit about expectations for you as a graduate student and how you can be successful. You've all received an undergraduate degree, so you've been through that experience. So you understand what it's like to go through college and what kind of expectations faculty had for you then. What's different is, as a graduate student, the expectations are higher. Faculty expect more from you as a graduate student than they did when you were an undergrad. So what do I mean by that? What does that look like? Well, they're going to want you to be an autonomous learner. So that means rather than waiting for the professor to give you a study guide for an exam or a paper, you're going to be building that yourself. You're going to ask smart questions. You're going to ask for help when you need it. And you're going to find resources to support you. So the tables are turned a little bit. It requires you to be very active in your learning to get the most out of it. Another way in which the expectations are different for graduate students is the grading scale. In graduate school, the grading scale is A, B, C, and unsatisfactory. And that's because we expect graduate students to get A's and B's. An occasional C is fine, but too many C grades will get a student suspended. And we don't want to see that happen, so that's why I'm giving you this information up front. Another place that I think is very important, and a place where the expectations are particularly high for graduate students, is academic integrity. As an undergrad, we presume that you learned about plagiarism and cheating, etc. So now we have a policy for academic integrity at UNC Charlotte, and I think somebody can drop the link into the chat. We expect that you understand what that looks like. And if you don't know, or if you're not sure that you know what plagiarism is, what constitutes cheating, what unauthorized collaboration might look like, or just want to know more about research misconduct, you need to go read this policy and then seek out some training. For doctoral students, you'll be required to do an online training. For master's students, the Atkins Library has a particularly useful workshop that you can go through. Every semester, unfortunately, we find students who get terminated for violating the academic integrity policy. We don't want that to be you, so please take this seriously and understand that academic integrity is important to the value of your degree. So it's a very important guiding principle for the university. Now, along with these higher expectations, we have a lot of resources to support you. I already mentioned Atkins Library. We have subject librarians in the library, and these are folks who are experts in your discipline. So if you're conducting research, I think you're going to find it incredibly helpful to connect with your subject librarian. They can help you find resources that you would never have considered, and really do outstanding research by using some of those resources. We have a Center for Writing, and it is helpful in many ways, but for graduate students, I would encourage you to look at the Center for Graduate Life and Learning for writing support. They offer courses in writing. We have a tutor who works with advanced graduate students as well, and they offer different workshops on writing. So please consider that if your writing is maybe not as advanced as you would like it to be, or if you get feedback from a faculty member who suggests that you might benefit from one of these resources, take advantage of it. Now, there are lots of other tools I could talk about, but I don't want to overwhelm you. One I want to point out, I think is really important, is DegreeWorks. DegreeWorks is a degree auditing tool, and many of you may have used it as undergrads, but it helps you track your progress. I think it's important that you check it at least once a semester, if not more, and make sure that you go over it with your advisor. Because when you have questions, things may show up in DegreeWorks and not count for something you think it should count for, and advisors can help answer some of that. And if they can't, you can contact the graduate school and we'll help you with that. Now, campus has a lot of other general resources, and these are all open to you. Things like our rec center, for example. But there are a few that I think are important enough I want to call out individually. First is our Center for Counseling and Psychological Services. Now, it's not because I think everybody who goes to graduate school needs counseling, far from it, but it is a unique experience, and it can be stressful and isolating at times. And our counseling center has groups that run for graduate students, things like time management or how to deal with stress. They will offer individual counseling if that's what you need. So don't hesitate to reach out to them. It's a terrific benefit and an important resource, I think, to help you be successful. UNC Charlotte also has an office of civil rights and Title IX. And that office really deals with issues around discrimination. But they also deal with sexual assault and harassment charges. It's an office I hope you never need, but If you find yourself in a situation where you need support, they are available to you, and hopefully you won't need them, but reach out to them if you do. We have an office called Student Assistance and Support Services, which we refer to as SAS. And SAS is there if you find yourself in any kind of crisis situation, whether it's medical or a family emergency or anything that might interfere with your academic progress or your ability to attend classes, for example. So you can reach out to SAS with questions about how to take an incomplete, or if you need to withdraw from a course for a particular reason, SAS can be of assistance with that. Lastly, we are lucky to have a graduate student ombudsman. Dr. Bruce Taylor is a faculty member in the College of Education. He is available to you for confidential consultations. He can help you navigate through the university, the bureaucracy, the process, and he is happy to meet with you. And I think somebody can drop his information in chat as well. So please feel free to reach out to him if you have questions. Now, those are just some of the many resources that are available to you. But again, our goal is to help you be successful. And sometimes you need to know where to go to find the support you need. We don't want you just to survive graduate school. We really want to see you thrive in this experience. And as Dr. Huerta said, getting engaged with the Center for Graduate Life and Learning, meeting your colleagues, those are ways that you can really thrive. So with that, I want to say we're really glad to have you as part of Niner Nation. Welcome. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Aura Young.
Thank you, Dr. Hall-Hertel, and welcome to everybody. I'm Aura Young. I'm the Associate Director of the Center for Graduate Life and Learning. I've been here for 5 or so years, and I love my job because we just have so many amazing graduate students who I know are going to go on and really have an impact on the world. We have folks working on cancer research, and we have people doing wonderful work in the criminal justice department, and lots of teachers and administrators, and people working on all sorts of problems, solving the world's problems. So I really love to be able to support graduate students and make their time here at UNC Charlotte as pleasant as possible. So for my little chunk of the orientation today, I'm going to introduce you to our Graduate Life Fellows. Each year, the Center for Graduate Life and Learning has 7 Graduate Life Fellows. We have quite a number of people who apply because there is a financial award that goes along with the fellowship. And the Grad Life Fellows, they're sort of like, they're an extra connection between us and the graduate students. They keep us current. They suggest to us programming that would be valuable. They put programming together. They're at the orientation. They're at all sorts of social events and things like that. So you'll see them, and you can always reach out to them with questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to Maruch to introduce herself. And then Maruch, after you're done, will you just pass it to the next GLF that you want to introduce him or herself next?
Hey everybody, hello, salam, namaste, everybody. I've seen so many people from India, and I'm sure they're from people Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. Welcome aboard, howdy. We are all very, very, very happy to have you. My name is Maraf Maksud. I'm a Graduate Life Fellow with Center for Graduate Life and Learning. I'm a master's student and I'm studying communication studies. And a little bit about my experience of being a GLF. Well, our office, first of all, is one of the most beautiful and caring places that you're going to find. It's a nice lounge for you to come and sit, have a chat. Most importantly, you'll make friends for life. We are here for you. All of us are from different walks of life or from different subjects. We can share our insights of our departments with you, tell you how to handle stress in those amazing exam days. And most importantly, you'll be able to collaborate with the people who most people think are just inaccessible, like our orientations, where you can meet all of these amazing people you just heard from, have a cup of coffee with them, break a bread with them, and get to talk more about it. And I think that's my cue. Over to you, Mike.
Thank you, Maruk, and welcome everybody. My name is Michael Uduebo, and I'm a PhD candidate in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. I'm currently in my starting my 4th year now. So I've been here quite a while. You're welcome to graduate school. It's interesting having you. And just like Maruk had said, we graduate life fellows, and as well as everybody, really. I would like to have you around. Feel free to chat in your questions, and we'll do our best answer. Over to you, Sherry.
Thank you, Mike. Hello, everyone. I am Sheree Harper, and I am a 3rd year doctoral student in the Counselor Education and Supervision program, and that is housed in the College of Education. So shout out, of course, to all my educators, teachers. I saw a lot of you here. And I also received my master's degree here in school counseling, as well as my graduate certificate in play therapy. So UNCC is my home. I love it. There's just so many different resources, so many different supports that are available. So please just reach out if you have any questions. Happy to help and provide assistance in any way. And again, congratulations and welcome to everyone. And so I'll pass it on to McKenna.
Thank you, Sheree. Hi, everybody. My name is McKenna Cunningham, and I am a 2nd year MBA student in the Bell College of Business. I am graduating in May. I'm very excited about that. Some of my fellow GLFs are also graduating. If you have any questions about anything, it could be MBA related, DBA related. It could also just be personal if you want recommendations on, what to do in Charlotte. I'm always here to help. I've lived here about 10 years. I've gone to UNCC for 5, I think. So yeah, we're all just so happy to have you guys here. This is something that we do to really just make life easier for y'all, to provide, an outlet that, a lot of us have really benefited from, and, just to make friends. Obviously, we all like to do that too. And it's really great just to know someone in your program and on other programs too. We've all made friends with each other, and we're all in different colleges, different programs. So, we're all here to help you in whatever you need. So thank you and welcome. I am now going to pass it to Hamida.
Thanks, McKenna. Hello, everyone. Welcome to UNCC. My name is Hamida. I'm a 4th year doctoral student at Infrastructure and Environmental System Department. I was a dual major student. I graduated my master in MS in architecture last May, and now I'm focusing on my doctoral degree. And feel free to reach out, as other GLF said. And yeah, happy to have you here. Welcome. I'm gonna pass it to Claire.
Hi, everyone. My name is Claire. I am a 2nd year Master of Health Administration student. I'm originally from New Jersey, and I'm a little bit of a non-traditional student. I graduated in 2019. I took about 2-ish years, I think, off working full time, and then came back to UNCC. I still work while I go to school. And so I think if you have any questions about working, work-life balance, ways to stay engaged and involved while still obviously having competing responsibilities, please feel free to reach out to me. I love being a GLF. I think it's really, really cool. You have all these other great people you get to chat with. We have a really cool space. There's always snacks, and it smells good in there, and it's just a really good place to relax. So please stop by and see us, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks, everybody. Those were lovely introductions. So new students, please chat in any questions you have, and we're going to work on answering as many as we can. Of course, we're also going to have breakout rooms later. So if you have like really specific questions, or if your question doesn't get answered, you can join a breakout room and get an answer then. So anyway, let me see. I'm going to just start with sort of a general question about, your transition to graduate school. which I think others have mentioned already a little bit today, how it's like different from college. So could any of you speak to that transition, what it was like, what you would have done differently, maybe what you wished you knew? Please take it away. I'm sure you all have thoughts.
I can answer that. For me, I wish I would have answered. I would have asked what I was looking for from someone before I get frustrated, because as Sherry said, there is a lot of resources on campus that I had no idea that I can have access. And so having someone that had like go through those the same journey and is familiar with the with where to go, where what to do is the best way. So my advice on that is to always ask your peers or us as GLFs. We are happy to help you with that, and we are most of the time we're in the CGLL office, so we can be there or just reach out to us via email.
Thanks, Hamide. Do we have more thoughts?
Well, I can go. So since, as I mentioned earlier, there's so many international students here, I would suggest that you join the breakout room with Mike. He will be able to answer a lot of questions, but most importantly, the transition for us is slightly different. Those who are moving from different communities and cultures, I would say, if you see someone who looks like he or she is from your part of the world, just go and introduce yourself. Just go and meet people. Come to us, talk to us. Just the day you break the barrier of communication is the day you become a part of the community. So if you see one of us, just come and say hi, and we'll tell you where to find the right food. We'll tell you where to go and buy your groceries, where to go and meet people, and most importantly, what are the secret hideouts on campus where you can go and relax for a minute if you need a minute to yourself, because it's going to get really loud when a lot of people just come back in, because I'm sure people have come in and walked around the beautiful campus. It's not going to look the same on Monday when you come back. It's going to be a lot of people. So if you get a little overwhelmed, just find a nice quiet place, sit down, enjoy a cup of coffee. You're a grad student now. It's okay to be a little stressed.
Thanks, Maru.
And I'll just chime in for a second too. I think, so entering into my master's program, I think one of the, or few of the things that were most helpful for me was building that sense of community. So in my classrooms, I noticed that maybe, well, even with in my program, we go in a cohort. So everybody, we have all the same classes together. And so I noticed, I'm like, okay, there's that person, okay, same people, let me just go ahead and connect with that person. And so from that, like my cohort was very strong and very tight and very supportive. But also just, again, build those individual and kind of smaller group connections. And that way we would get together, study together. We would ask questions about class assignments and projects and papers and things like that. So building that sense of support and community within like your cohort, again, or even across colleges or whatever it may be. And then also making sure you build those connections and supports with your professors, like that's major. Know your professors, be able to reach out and communicate with them, because that was major. And then just to, again, bounce off of what Hamidad said, and what I always say is take advantage of those resources and the supports. So the counseling center, I'm huge on that. I'm a counselor, I'm a therapist, school counselor, history. So that's very important for me. And so I say, hey, it's there. We all could use it. It's okay to have it. It's okay to take care of ourselves mentally, physically, holistically. So yeah, I just say take advantage of the resources that are available.
I'll chime in, kind of piggybacking off of what Sheree said. I think for me, the biggest thing was definitely community. It can be hard to balance, work and school and personal life. And, obviously, like people always say networking is important, but it really is, especially when you are struggling with stuff like that. Like, you know, I've made several friends in my program, several friends outside of my program. And if I'm struggling with something, I know I can talk to them about it because, you know, they're in a similar position. And you know, that's really important. Obviously, it can be overwhelming at first because you don't really know anyone. But yeah, just talk to people in your classes. Like Sheree said, you know, really try to connect with your professors well. Um, and it'll just work itself out. You know, I mean, like I said, I'm almost finished, and I feel like I've created like a really good group of friends that I know will last beyond graduating that I didn't think I would have. So
Thank you all. So I have gotten a few questions in the chat about how can distance ed students find community? And like, even though all of you GLFs, you're not distance ed students, I think you have all experienced basically the distance ed experience during COVID. So what advice do you have for how our distance ed students can get connected?
I can go. Let's start off with that. For people who are distance ed students, I would encourage you to sign up with your graduate student organization. Most GSOs are usually try to form a community, hold virtual events where you can get to meet with people, or colleagues. Most of them host virtual happy hours where people get together in the evenings, and then you get to discuss with each other, talk about your day and things like that. So that would be a very good place to look out for. Try and join a graduate student organization, possibly the one related to your discipline. You'll find that on the Student Engage platform. You could go there and you could search for different graduate student organizations, and from there you get to meet other people who are within your discipline, outside the discipline, people who you share interest with. There are different groups there. There are chess groups, there are archery groups, there are even people that play online games all through the semester. So you could go up there and find out. Whatever interests you, get to meet with people there. And I know most of them offer virtual options, right? Because that's really the best way to get students these days. Yeah.
Thanks, Mike. And I put the link in the chat for the list of student orgs. So you can find a student org that appeals to you. You can also create your own student org. There's information about that on the GPSG website. And also our onboarding portal, which I know you guys have all seen, we've emailed it to you multiple times, has a list of all the international student orgs. So if you're an international student, those are especially helpful. Let's see, other advice about staying connected when you're not on campus?
I can go. Sure.
no, you go ahead, Ruth. I'll follow you. Okay.
I'll just say that follow the handles on Instagram. A lot of things come up and you get to know all the virtual events that's going on. I guess the UNCC Insta is very, very active, and so is ours of CGLL, like, you know, our Insta and all the community pages on social media. They'll give you a lot of opportunities, like Mike mentioned, the online happy hours and, you know, a place to be, because once you're able to connect people and try to see that there are other distant ed students who are also having like this and that situation, and that is how they're coping with it, it would give you more confidence to be more of yourself.
So I wanted to add, I am not someone who lives far away from campus. I live like 5 minutes away. However, I have met somebody, she lives in Dallas, and she wanted to get connected. And so one thing that she's been doing is she's been reaching out to different people that she knows she can connect with. But like, she reached out to me actually the beginning of last semester. And we just had like several Zoom meetings, just like, you know, to get to know each other. And we've become friends. So I would say, you know, if like, honestly, if any of us you feel like you connect well with, like, reach out to us. We'll be willing to, you know, talk to you, have phone calls with you, whatever it is that you need. We're not just here for people who can meet with us in person. You know, we're here for everybody.
Thanks, McKenna. Let's see. So I have a question here, just changing direction a tiny bit, more academic. So one person asked, based from the chat, I see that many of my peers work full time. So what kind of flexibility and understanding / resources did you find in your respective academic schools? Claire, since you mentioned working, do you want to speak about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So, and my situation may be different than some of our doctoral students, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But for me, I found that most people in my program are also working professionals in some capacity. I think McKenna in the MBA program, there's a couple people that work as well. So for us, our program classes are mostly at night. And so that obviously already accommodates that. Professors as a whole know that. And so they'll have virtual office hours. So maybe on a lunch, you can get on a Zoom call with them if you have a question. They're usually there a little bit earlier before class, or will stay after. In terms of like flexibility, I would definitely recommend getting a planner, whether it's a physical one or you're a Google Calendar person or you're a notepad person, whatever is going to help keep you organized. I strongly recommend that because I consider myself a pretty organized person. And once I got into grad school and working and remembering that I had to go to the grocery store and I had to call my mom and just everything started compounding. So I really recommend making sure that you keep yourself organized, and that'll also really help with your work-life balance, because school is a second job. You know, we're here because we want to be. No one's making us be here. So I think a lot of us take pride in being here, and so that comes with extra responsibility, but it's nothing you can't handle. It is just a bit of an adjustment. And then also I just saw in the chat, this is unrelated, but you can get your ID card. If you already haven't, you can email the city center and you can pick it up from them. And then there's a parking stuff online that you order your permit and it'll go through automatically. Just so address some of those questions quickly, but we can also drop links and elaborate on that as well. But yeah, work-life balance is super important. You can do it if you're working, just make sure you're staying organized on top of stuff. And if you do have like a work conference you have to travel to or something you have to do, just communicate very proactively to your professors. They're very understanding. But just let them know like, hey, in a couple of weeks, I anticipate this. Is it okay if I deliver my paper a day after or a day earlier? So just make sure you're communicating well.
Claire, that's good advice to reach out to your professors. And in general, I think if you're having any sort of issue or you're panicking about something, you should definitely reach out to someone, a professor or one of us in the CGLL or somebody to see what sort of solution can be found. Let's see, other working professional people, students. Cherie, did you say you're also working right now?
Well, not like full time, but I do. I mean, even in my master's program, I was working part-time outside of school, as well as I had a teaching assistantship and then a graduate assistantship. So I've always been working and going to school full time in a sense. And even when I was working full time as a school counselor, I was also taking classes part time. So I've always had to kind of figure out this kind of sort of balance in a sense, which is always ongoing and it's a journey and it's a process. But I definitely would concur with what Claire mentioned about the calendar. The Google Calendar is like my life, honestly. I put school, work, personal, everything into there. And so I'm able to go in there and reference what I need to do. It keeps me on track. And then even putting and being intentional about putting like breaks in there as well. So making sure I put a lunch in there, making sure I put like, okay, go for a walk, but making it intentional so that, again, it's like kind of taking care of my whole self and well-being, because it is a lot. It's a lot coming out of a pandemic in a sense, and still transitioning in so many ways. And so it's like, it's so important to take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, in all the ways. And then again, like I said, just first day, go up to your professors, introduce yourself, make sure you start those connections and continue those, and know that, make sure that professors know your name. because that way you can reach out to them and tell them what's going on. They'll be supportive. They will talk with you and they will work something out with you. They are willing to be there and give you grace, and then also give yourselves grace as well.
Thank you, Cherie. I always feel calmer when I listen to you. So there's so many great questions. I want to just address one super quick, and then maybe we can talk about like getting around campus and getting around Charlotte, because there are a lot of questions about that. But someone says, someone needs to point the 60-year-old to where to go to find my class information. Is there an orientation to how the distance learning works? And I just want to say, you're definitely not the only 60-year-old. There are plenty of non-traditional students. There are lots of folks that come in and they have never used Canvas and don't know what it is. And that's perfectly understandable, because it's people out in the world don't use Canvas. So yeah, you probably need to go to canvas.charlotte.edu to be able to find your Canvas classes. And then they will all be set up differently in there. You'll see, because each professor sets up their own Canvas course. But you can always reach out. You can reach out to me if you have any questions, and I can point you in the right direction for answers if I don't know the answers. So let me see here. So, okay, so getting around campus and getting around Charlotte. I know you guys all have good advice about riding the light rail and finding things to do when you don't have a car, and getting from one side of campus to the other and all that kind of stuff. So let's see who can give some advice here.
I can take that. So I've been here for a year and a half, and I don't drive. And when I came here, I was like, how's that gonna work? But it has worked so far. The campus buses are very efficient. I would suggest that you download the app and make sure that you know when the bus is arriving and the routes. Also, the light rail is one of the added benefits of your student ID card, because you don't have to pay for the light rail. If you have your student ID on you, that is free for you. So do travel, and it almost takes you to the city camp, like it takes you right in front of the city campus and beyond. So you're able to see uptown, you're able to go places, to the stadiums around there. And also for international students who don't have car and want to buy international groceries, the shopping shuttle also operates on Saturdays and Sundays and takes you to a nearby traditional grocery store. So you're able to just hop on the bus, get off at the grocery store, and get back on the bus. And if you live nearby campus, and if you're on campus on the weekend, so it's slightly tricky to just figure out the routes and how to get on a bus and where to get on a bus. Once you have figured that out, I believe the university internally has a very strong transportation system.
Thanks, Maruk. Who loves to ride the light rail? Do any of you GLFs use the light rail to get to campus? Hamide? But you don't love it?
I take the light rail to go. I'm doing an internship to go to the office, but it's good because it's faster in the morning. There's a traffic in the highway, so I'm getting here faster. I love this. And
It's a
also,
lot cleaner than like the New York City subways that I grew up with. So for anyone from the north who knows how dirty those are, the light rail is beautiful, and it's quiet and it's clean and it's above ground. So I enjoy it.
It's like a toy, kind of. It's like a little ride. It's not like any other grungy subway or anything. It's just quiet and smooth. But yeah, your student ID card will get you on the light rail and the rest of the public transport around here. Cherie, I see you unmuted.
Yes, and so I don't necessarily using it personally because I live more so further away, Still Creek, kind of Fort Mill area, so I'm a commuter. But however, when I've had different things that are uptown, or it's a really great resource, because you can park your car or however, and you can get to where you need to, and you don't have to pay for parking. So say you had to go to something downtown, you could take that and just kind of get out and walk versus having to try to find parking, pay for it, etc. And then again, and technically it's take advantage of the resource because it's a part of your fees that you pay for that transportation. So go ahead and use that and utilize it. But it is very convenient. It is very clean. And yeah, so I say take advantage of it and use it.
Thank you. Let me see. We've also, well, no, I don't want to move to that yet. Do y'all have recommendations about like your favorite things to do around here for newcomers?
I can start with that. My favorite thing to do is to go uptown, visit the parks. I've practically visited most of the parks uptown now. And that's where the light rail comes in very handy. Like has been said, with your ID card, you have free access to the light rail, to the buses, right? People like the light rail, but they're always very scared to use buses. But if you have Google Maps and you're able to link when each bus is going to arrive, buses are also a very good way to travel around the city. So visiting parks, there are very beautiful parks around the Charlotte area, beautiful scenery. You get to meet people and experience the city itself. Yeah.
I can go. One of my favorite things to do is like trying new food that I can eat, and especially with someone who only eats halal food, as I'm assuming some of you here do, I guess. Optimist Hall is a good option to go to, or like, go to Uptown. There are a bunch of halal carts around there. If you are planning to go to Optimist Hall, you get on the light rail, you get off at the Parkwood station, and you walk for 5 to 6 minutes, and it's right next to Duke Energy. And you're able to there are like 30 different food outlets there. You can enjoy coffee, ice cream, other things. So you can sort of, try the palette and develop your taste around various eateries in Charlotte. And around that area, there are a bunch of bakeries too. So you can walk around and, develop the taste of food in Charlotte, because when you come, you're just becoming a part of the city. You want to try all the things and try to get to know places. I think Optimist is a good start to go to. And other than that, the light rail takes you pretty much to all the bigger outlets in the city. And I think, as echoing with Mike, it's one of my favorite pastimes to go up there and try to explore what's new.
Thank you, Margaret. And I also wanted to mention, as far as getting around on campus, because I saw a chat how somebody said they got lost last time they visited. That's totally understandable. If you don't want to download the LiveSafe app, which has a map on it, you can actually just use, your normal map app, whatever you use, and you can probably navigate directly to the building you need to go to. So that's pretty helpful. So a lot of you folks will be writing a thesis or a dissertation. I know there are a lot of master's students here in this meeting. So what advice, GLFs, what advice do you have for preparing for that? Because I would say it would be really smart to be thinking about that as soon as you start your program, instead of waiting and then you're in trouble. So what do you think? I see some head nods for sure.
I can go for that because I'm in the process right now. I'm defending my thesis proposal next week. So I'm sure everybody, I cannot say much about the doctoral students, but for the master's students, I can say that I agree with Aura, the fact that you need to start thinking about it from early on, because half the part of this thesis is picking your supervisor, because that supervisor is going to be your partner of study. You need to be able to, look up professors who you are studying with and try to see that with whom you develop the right rapport or the energy matches, because you have to be able to communicate with your supervisor that these are 200 ideas I want to work on. And then that professor would say, okay, what are your top 10? And that is how you shortlist your ideas. And other than that, if you go to your professor and you say, I have no ideas, that is also a point where they can tell you, okay, these are the rich areas in the industry right now. Which one of them appeal to you the most? So I think the first step towards being able to navigate the thesis process is to go and say hi to all the professors, talk to them about their research areas. And if you can't find anyone, you also, most of the departments have the option to collaborate with other departments. So I think openness is the first secret towards being able to navigate the final research process. Don't be shy, go talk to people. They have been through the process. They did not get where they are today without having a bunch of bumps and bruises through the process. So learn from them and come talk to your people.
And also to add to that, this past semester, we had a morning writing events that there's a quiet classroom next to the CGLL office, and then you can go there, sit from 8 a.m. to 12 noon and work on your dissertation or paper. And I personally, whenever I went there, because I feel like I'm more focused, there's coffee and snacks also provided, so you don't have to be worried about anything. Sometimes we also order lunch. So make sure to follow the weekly newsletter and sign up for that morning writing events or workshops. Last semester, it was on Friday morning. Probably this semester will be same time. Also, we have a writing center on campus. For those of you who are international students, I highly recommend that. I mean, everyone needs to work on their writings, but I guess it's really much challenging for international students to write. So you can check your sentence structure and grammatical errors, all those kind of things. But that one also you need to register and sign up for an appointment.
Yeah, I will also recommend the Writing Resource Center, particularly for students in engineering and maybe computing that have to write technical reports. If you are not very familiar with how to outline some of these things, you may not be able to do them the way they are supposed to be done. And I will also recommend the academic writing course. A lot of people have taken that course and they have very good things to say about it. Practically walks you through how to write your first paper, so it's a course I will also recommend for everyone. Yeah.
Thanks, Mike. I'm glad that everybody's mentioning the writing support because, I mean, maybe you didn't take advantage of that sort of thing when you were an undergrad, but you will need to take advantage of that sort of thing now. You're going to do so much more writing, and it needs to be, you need to do a good job of it. You can't do like the undergrad kind of level of job. So that's why you should take advantage of all the writing resources that we provide. There are a lot of other resources that maybe you didn't take advantage of when you were in college that you'll need now. We have a career center that will help you with your cover letters and your resumes, and they'll help you practice interviewing. And so they have a ton of resources, and we also team up with them pretty much like every single week to present various workshops for grad students. So I would say definitely take advantage of that. I've seen a lot of bad writing. I've seen a lot of bad cover letters. So definitely, basically you pay for the services, so take advantage of them.
So I just want to chime in too, because I wanted to reiterate, because I've used the Weekend Write as well. And so there are opportunities, there's times where it's online, and I actually joined in online and it was super helpful. I was productive. But there's also times where it's in person as well in the library or in the CGLL. And so just a great opportunity to be productive and connect with others, set goals in that short amount of time and reach those goals. And then of course, we have, again, events as well. And so I went to the one with Dr. Young here about the thesis and dissertation formatting. So that was also very helpful as well. So again, a lot of resources to help with the process. So it's not that you're just by yourself and alone and having to navigate it by yourself.
Thank you, Cherie. So here we are, we're at the end of the hour. So I just really quickly, I want to thank all of y'all, all the GLFs, thank everybody. I want to thank everybody who's joined us today, all the new students. If you have time and you want to join a breakout room to get more questions answered, if you just click on the 3 little dots at the bottom of your screen to the left of the leave button, you'll see breakout rooms listed there. If you click on that, then you'll be able to find the topics of the various breakout rooms. And this is the first time we've done this. So this is kind of an experiment. You hop into whichever breakout room interests you and get your question answered. And then you can hop into another one if you want to. So we're going to be on hand for the next hour until 6 o'clock. Let me see, for all the silly questions you're afraid to ask, I'm doing that one. So if you're like, you know, I'm the 60-year-old and I don't know what I'm doing at the moment, come join me. Or if you feel like you have some other dumb question that you don't want to ask, like come join me, because I love that sort of thing.